we do these, we are going to move on to the last portion of our unit, which is dividing these polynomials. So far, we've graphed them, we've factored them, we've solved them, and now we're going, and we've multiplied them, and now we're going to divide them. But let's go ahead and go look at these 3 highlighted homework problems first, and then we'll move on from there. Looking at number 11, it says the word solve. So if it says the word solve, what does that mean? What do I need to do in order to do that? Factoring, if I can factor it, that's definitely the first step. Can I factor number 11? Yes, I sure can. What is the method that I use to factor it? The what, sweetie? I just didn't hear you. The formula's the formula's right next to it in red, isn't it? It's that AB formula. It's the difference of perfect cubes. So we have to make sure, is 1,000 a perfect cube? How do I check that? How do I check to see if 1,000 is a perfect cube? Not square root it. Math 4, which is cube root. So I'm going to cube root 1,000. And do I get a number? I get 10. So that means it is a perfect cube, so we are going to use our A and our B in our formula here, okay? So I'm just going to rewrite it on another page so we have some room here. And I'm going to make sure that I don't skip the step of writing it as 10 cubed. If you remember, that was an important step, right? So, Shamar, tell me the first factor. X what? X minus 10. Perfect. The second factor is going to be what? Matthew, what's the second factor? X squared. Actually, it's plus 10x. The thing that's interesting, Matthew, look, if this is a minus, then that's a plus. Those two signs are always different. Okay? All right, so we'll keep going. Plus 10x plus what? Plus 100, which is 10 squared. That's exactly right. And we're going to set that equal to 0 because that's what the problem said. If the directions said to factor, I'm finished. The directions don't say factor, they actually say to solve. So in order to solve this, what do I need to do? Take each of the factors and do what with them? Set them equal to 0. So I'm going to say x minus 10 equals 0. And over here, I'm going to say x squared plus 10x plus 100 equals 0. This is the easier one. The first factor is always your real factor. I add 10 to both sides. X is equal to 10. Isn't that the one that's going to show up on the graph? If I graphed it, I will see it crosses at 10. On the second factor, when I look at it, it's not, I can't factor it again. So how do I have to solve this one? Quadratic formula. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I have negative b plus or minus the square root. We should be writing this down if we didn't have our homework, or at least checking our answers too. Then we have b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? Because we're solving it. We're trying to get the answers. We're trying to get what the other solutions are. How do I simplify this? What do I do to simplify? Inside of what? The discriminant, which is underneath the square root. And when I do that, what do I get? What is 100 minus 400? Negative 300. And what I need to do to reduce negative 300, we're going to reduce that radical. We know that the I comes out. We can, if you want to, make a factor tree, that makes it easier for you. 3 times 100, 10 times 10. We have a pair, so I know that the 10 can come out. The 3 stays underneath the square root. So I have 10I radical 3. Just reducing the radical. So this now becomes negative 10 plus or minus 10I radical 3 all over 2. Not finished yet. I have to reduce it. You're exactly right. Good job, April. I'm going to take these three things and reduce. They're all divisible by 2, so my final answer is, those are 2 answers, and 10 is 2 answers. So I have 1, 2, 3. No. Well, we've done it at least 3 times now in this class. Well, remember, if you're not here, well, then you have a computer at the school, sweetheart. If you're absent, you're responsible for getting the work made up. We did exactly this. Because all we did was factoring, Tim. I'm not going to get engaged with you and argue with you. Okay? Stop. That's fine. Go ahead. My feelings aren't hurt. I just want the best for you. All right, so we said we were going to do number 11. Now we're going to do 15. But before we do, are there any questions about 11? Simply just factoring it and taking it one step further, setting the first factor equal to 0, setting the second factor equal to 0, and using the quadratic formula just to get your final answers. That's it. All right, the next one is this one, and I think this one caused some problems for people because it was hard to factor maybe. So what could we have done differently? So let's try 6x squared plus 13x minus 5. A lot of us got stuck because you couldn't factor it. Do you agree? Can't take a 6 out, there's no GCF. If it's difficult to factor, or it's not easily factored, how could I solve a quadratic? No? Oh, I see, to try to factor, is that what you mean, Oshami? Yeah, I could definitely try to do that. Do you have a different idea, Christian? Quadratic formula, that's what we just did. That always works. That's what I would do too. If it's not an easily factored thing for you, use the quadratic formula. It is a quadratic. That's what I would do. Were you able to factor it though, Oshami? You were, it is factorable? Okay, so if you can, I'm just saying that if it's hard to factor, you can always go back to the quadratic formula. That will always work. But would you like to try it the factoring way? All right, so the two numbers have to multiply to be negative 30, and they have to add to be 13. Okay. Negative 15 and 2. Good. Actually, positive 15 and negative 2, right? All right, so positive 15 and, positive 15 and negative 2. And I'm going to rewrite my middle term to do that. So I have 6x squared plus 15x minus 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now what? How do I factor this? You guys remember all these different ways to factor. It's not going away. We're going to have to factor in the next unit too. So you don't think it's just going to go away. Or you take out the GCF. You can take out a 3x actually. If you what you call grouping. I'm going to group the first 2, and I'm going to group the last 2. That's exactly what I do. And Alexis is right. I'm going to take out a 3x, and what am I left with? Not just x, 2x plus 5. So 2x plus 5. And just double check yourself. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x, and that's right. We have to have a 2x plus 5 over here. What do I take out? A negative 1. So my two factors become 3x minus 1 and 2x plus 5. So I factored it. That's great. But I'm not done, because what were the directions? Solve. So if it says solve, what do I do? Set each of those factors equal to 0. That's exactly right. So I'm going to say, oh, goodness. (3x minus 1 equals 0), and 2x plus 5 equals 0. Add 1, divide by 3, x is a third. Over here, subtract 5, divide by 2. Those are my two solutions. Do I only expect two answers? How do I tell? The degree. The degree is 2. I get two answers. Okay? We are. Remember, we picked 3 to do total. Okay? Before I go to the last one, though, you got a question? Because there's a negative here that I can take out. It's like the GCF. Any other questions? No? Carolina, you doing okay? Yeah? Okay. How do you know what, sweetie? If it's not factorable, and there's a negative under the square root. So like if you look at the last problem that we did, we had a negative 300 under the square root. If this wasn't factorable, we used a quadratic formula. That tells me I have an I. Okay? Sure. Depends on the problem. In this problem, well, if we think about it this way, the first step is always to factor if you can. Factor it. And then if it says to solve, you set each of the factors equal to 0. Now, this one's an easy factor to set equal to 0. This was the hard one, right? And so anytime you use that AB formula, if you're asked to solve it, you are going to have to do the quadratic formula. And I did the other one. It's basically created into two problems. I factored it, which is what we did after school on Monday. We factored. Then we set each of those factors equal to 0. And we had to solve it. We did the quadratic formula here. What Christian suggested is I could have done the quadratic formula here. It would have worked. But Ashame said it's factorable. So that's what we did anyway. Either one of those ways would have gotten you those two answers. Yes, that was this one. Yes, the AB formula. We did A squared minus B squared. This is just a regular old factoring from, gosh, I don't know, a couple months ago? Last year, right? I mean, we did it a long time ago, right? This is like an old-fashioned factoring one. Too many questions going on. Start yours. The degree tells us the number of answers. So there was 3 answers. Watch. 1, and because it says plus or minus, that's 2 answers. So 1, 2, 3. The degree will always tell us the number of answers. Okay? Now, another thing that you missed on Monday, Chris, is that this is the only real answer, so it's the only one that'll show up on the calculator. Which means this guy crosses over here at 10. I'm not sure what this polynomial looks like, but I don't know, it doesn't look like that. But hang on, let me just see real quick. It's out here at 10. It's going to like cross, or that's not exactly what it looks like, but it crosses at 10. There are no other answers that show up on the graph. Only the real one does. Okay? All right, what did you say, Tim? Okay. All right, last one we're going to look at is we are going to review in class. What's day? We're going to review on Wednesday. Or Friday. Today is Wednesday. We'll review Friday. Test is Tuesday. Okay, last one we're going to look at is 21. This one was a little bit different. So 21 is x to the 4th minus 8x squared equals negative 16. So x to the 4th minus 8x squared equals negative 16. It's asking us to solve it. What do I have to do first? Get it equal to 0. So let's do that. X to the 4th minus 8x squared plus 16 equals 0. Okay? What do you want to do to solve it? Is it factorable? It actually is. If you remember, when we have x to the 4th and then an x squared, it's factorable by just putting x squared here. The two numbers have to multiply to be 16, and they have to add to be negative 8. What are they? Negative 4 and negative 4. So, some of you wanted to write this. Do you agree? Some of you wanted to do that. And that's fine. The only problem is that we're not asked to factor it. This would have been the complete factoring. I agree. But this step really isn't necessary because we're really trying to solve it, aren't we? So all we have to do is set each of those factors equal to 0 because that's what solve means. Okay? Then at this point, we're just going to solve it. They're the same exact equation, which means that the root happens twice. Add 4. X squared equals 4. What do I do now? We have to take the square root of both sides and add the plus or minus. So if we take the square root of both sides, we have x equals plus or minus 2. And that happens again. What does that mean? A double root. Well, what does that mean in the graph? Do you remember? What kind of a shape is this polynomial? What's the end behavior like? Okay, are the ends up or down? Both are up because it's an even degree. Ends are up. So it looks like a W. What it looks like in terms of the graph is at 2 and at negative 2, it kisses the graph, which means it does this. It looks like that. At negative 2 and positive 2. When you have a double root like that, that's what happens to the graph. Try it. Plug it in. See if it doesn't work that way. It should. Plug it in. Graph it. So let's get to the new stuff. What's your question, Shamar? This is a review. This was what you did for homework. This is not new. Okay? Here's the new stuff. Please take out your notes because I'm going to tell you, you have to really focus and you have to really pay attention to every single detail. This is going to be something that you have to really think about where your negatives go, what you're doing, and the process. We're going to start with an easy one. This is not it. Okay? Yes.
That's an easy one.
This is going to be our easy one. Do you know how to divide 5 into 326? No. Without a calculator. Okay, shh. Think about it. Don't yell out the answers. Think about it. Let everybody have a chance to remember the process for long division. Okay, this is a review. Well, we're going to do it with x's and polynomials today. So we're going to take what you already learned in 5th grade, and we're going to extend it to high school. So, shh. Does 5, so you look at the first, please, Tim, don't do that. Does 5 go into 3? So you have to look at the next one. Do you agree? Does 5 go into 32? How many times? So, shh, we're going to put a 6 here, and we say 6 times 5 is 30. So, let's remember the process. What do I do from here? Okay, here's the biggest thing that you're going to forget when we do this in algebra. What did you just say we do? Subtract. When you subtract, you change the signs, don't you? I'm going to highlight that every single time because it's the biggest mistake people make. People forget to subtract. When you subtract, now we have 2. What do I do next? Bring down the next part. Again, I'm going to highlight that because people forget. Well, I'll just make it red. So 26. Because that's just the process. You subtract them. That's what long division, that's the algorithm. 5 goes into 26 how many times? So we'll put 5 up here. And then what do I do? 5 times 5 is And then what do I do? Oh, I subtract. I better highlight that because I'm going to forget.
Wait, 5 out of what?
5 times 5, dear.
Outside of
Hey. Travis, look up here. 26 minus 20. Shh. 26 minus 25 is 1. We are not going to do it like we did in 5th grade and write remainder 1. We're not going to do this. This is so elementary school. Here's what, it's not point 1. Here's what we're going to do. Shh, guys, please stop. We're going to say plus 1 divided by 5. You take your remainder and you put it over what you divided by. Excuse me? Which is 65 and a fifth. 1/5 is 0.2. Okay? I know. We're not going to use a calculator here. You should know how to do long division. This is something from 5th grade.
I've never done this before.
Shh. All right. Now we're going to take it and we're going to use it with algebra. Okay? So, same algorithm, same process, but what are you going to do here? Minus, minus. So, sometimes they're written like this. This and then divided by. This means divided by. But we're going to rewrite it like long division. So I want you to write this problem down. This is the beginning one. X minus 2 goes on the outside.
Write it down.
Yes.
Even the question?
Sure. And then we're going to go and put what we're dividing into underneath Here's an important thing. When you're doing this with algebra, the powers have to go down by 1. Do they? Does it go x cubed, x squared, x? No x. If you are ever missing 1, you have to fill it in with a 0. That's an important part. We're not missing 1 here, and that's okay. If you want to wait a minute till we do this one, and then you can go, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Because it's a minus 2, we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to worry about the x and the x cubed. X times what is x cubed? No. X times x squared is x cubed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an x squared up here. Because I know that x squared times x is x to the third. I know that. So I'm going to write x to the third here. I also have to take that x squared and multiply it times the minus 2. And when I do that, what do I get? Negative 2x squared. Just I take this number here, and I multiply it times both of them, and I write it underneath. That's all. X squared times x is x to the third. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. That's all. That's all I've done. Because you're dividing by both. Okay? Travis, how come I don't see your eyeballs, dear? Well, you need to turn around and look at me, or I'm going to move your seat. X squared. Why did I pick x squared? Because that's how I got x to the third. X times x squared is x to the third. I take that and multiply it times everything that I'm dividing by. Times. You take this and multiply it times both and put it here. Think about it. X squared times x minus 2. If I distributed it, wouldn't I get what I'm talking? Wouldn't I get that? Right? I'm just distributing it. It doesn't have parentheses. That's all I'm doing. Okay? All right. So now We have to do what? What's the one step I told you everyone's going to forget? So when you subtract, you just change the signs. So I'm going to literally go and change the signs. Minus, plus. I'm even going to highlight them. So I remember to change the signs. I recommend you use a highlighter in the beginning and make sure you change the signs every time. If you need to borrow a highlighter, I have them right here. Go for it. I'm just subtracting. Subtracting means change the sign. Honey, when I'm talking, I don't need you to yell out a question. If you need to borrow a highlighter, they're on top of the cabinet. Help yourself. Now, what was your question?
What's the positive 38?
I don't change any signs up here. I'm just subtracting. Think about what I did here. I just subtracted the 30. I didn't do anything with the 326, right? It's the same process. So now I'm just going to go ahead and combine. The first ones should always cancel. It cancels by design. We picked the x squared on purpose to make them go away. And now I just have to combine 3x squared and plus 2x squared, and that gives me 5x squared. Okay? If it helps you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. When we subtract, we change the signs. I subtracted a negative because it was started out as a negative. When you subtract the negative, it's adding. Then you just combine. That's right. You just combine. Now, I have to continue. Think back to my algorithm. What was my next step? I bring down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to bring down the negative 4x. We'd only do one at a time. It takes, the more you do it, I promise you the algorithm will become more clear.
So what you're doing is just taking off the square, are you taking off the cube and you're combining the square and you're bringing down that, I don't know what you're doing last time.
We just brought it down. Negative 12 stays up there for now. It will eventually come down in the next step.
So all you got to do is do the first part.
Then change the signs. We got to subtract. So there is x times what is 5x squared? 5x plus 5x, right? Positive. So we're going to write plus 5x. Now, I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to distribute the 5x times both the x and the minus 2. So 5x times x is 5x squared. It better be. It better be the exact same thing because they're always going to cancel, right? Let me finish what I'm doing, and I'll be glad to answer your question. Just let me finish the algorithm. 5x times negative 2 is negative 10x. Now, I can't combine them yet. The next step is to change signs. And I'm going to highlight them so I don't forget. Alexis, why are you freaking out? What's going on? You're frustrated. What's going on? Because x times 5x is 5x squared. Okay? Change the signs. Again, if you need to borrow a highlighter, borrow one. I really want you to highlight it. Then I'm just going to combine. Once I've highlighted and changed my signs, I just combine them. The first ones should always cancel. Always. What is negative 4x plus 10x? Negative 4 plus, don't laugh. Negative 4 plus 10 is 6x. Then I'm going to, it was a minus. That's why I'm highlighting. Then bring down the negative 12. It's at the end, right? Now, I have one last step to go. So I have to figure out x times what is 6x? 6. Good. So I'm going to positive or negative. So I'm going to say plus 6 equals, now let's what we do the same process. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. What do I have to do? Change the signs. I'm going to highlight them to remind myself that I always need to change the signs. And what happens in this case? The remainder is 0. The answer I'm going to highlight in blue. There's no remainder, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll talk about because you combine them. The 6x is canceled and the negative 12 and the positive 12 canceled. Now, when the remainder is 0, something special happens. This is what we say is a factor of this. In other words, if I graphed what was underneath the divide, if I graphed that, 2 would be a 0. Graph it. Try it. Graph x to the third plus 3x squared. Go ahead and plug it into your calculator. X to the third plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12. If you have a question, I'm going to really ask you guys raise your hand because there's too many questions getting fired all at once, okay? Raise your hand if you have a question. Raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, Gabby? Let me see what, go ahead and press go to. Go down to go to. It's probably because you don't have a Zoom standard on. You must have a strange Zoom. All right. Yes, Chris.
So you told me if there's like two numbers in the front, it would be like you would get 2 out every time. Like
yes.
So if you had 3, it would be 3.
Yes. We probably won't ever divide by 3 out here, 3 terms, a trinomial, okay? Maybe that would be an extra credit question, okay? Maybe. Tim?
We all know is there always going to be a matching number that crosses out?
Yes, the first one will always cross out.
We will see. But I gotta go there.
We will. Alexis?
So, like, if it was like multiple choice,
Yes. Travis? Press Zoom standard. So if we look over here at the calculator, is 2, because remember if the factor is x minus 2, positive 2 would be the 0, right? Is positive 2 a 0 on the graph? And we know it's going to be because the remainder was 0. Okay? I think we should try another one. Yeah, absolutely. Here you go. Write it down. So I agree. This is an easier one than what we just did. It has fewer terms, so it's not as long. We rewrote it 2x squared on the outside. And then I'm going to highlight the signs that maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Touched it too many times. We're going to change the signs here, and he should have changed the signs here as well. Because 2 times 3 is 6. Because it's x times x is x squared. Okay? Good.
Should we do one without the remainder now?
Yes. Right. With a remainder, you mean, right? Okay. Now, because this has a 0 remainder, what do I know about 2x plus 1? It's a factor. It's a factor of that. What is the actual root? Can you go, if 2x plus 1 is the factor, negative 1/2? Right. I don't know if you can do that in your head yet. That's okay if you can't. All right, let's try a real hard one. This is the last one we're going to do, and I'm going to give you your work for what to do, because the bell's going to ring in about 20 minutes. Let's try one more difficult one. Nope, that's not the one I want to do. Oh, yeah, it is.
how do we get the 2 in that last again? Go back real quick.
Come on. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. All right, last one. Shh, come on, folks, let's go. That's why it's hard. All right, excuse me. Shh. Chris, look. I'm asking you a different kind of question this time. I say, is x plus 1 a factor? Well, we're going to divide it to see if the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, then it is a factor. So let's use our long division here, and let's see if it is a factor. Question? I'm getting there. I know your question. 2 of you have already noticed, and I'm really happy, it's missing something. What happens between here and here? We're missing the what term? X squared. We have to fill it in. You have, in order to divide it out, it has to be that way. Now, you guys are going to be mad when I show you the shortcut on this division on next class. No, you have to do the long division. What? Yes. You guys, you are already being recorded right now. You know that, right? What's your question, April? You're making yourself look like a fool. Really. Stop. What's your honey? I didn't mean for it's a typo on my part. All right, here we go. X plus 1, we're going to divide it into 3x to the 4th. Let me finish writing, please. Okay. Minus 4x to the 3rd. I'm going to put in plus 0x squared because it's missing. Plus 12x plus 5. This is going to be a long one. I want you to division.
You get one of these problems on homework, like, hold up, I'm going to do it later.
Long division's not easy, I know. I know it's hard. The process, if I see a phone out, I am going to take it, Mr. Settle. Put it away, please. We need to focus. We need to focus on this.
Hey, just calm down the mic.
I did. X times what is 3x to the 4th? 3x cubed. Very good. Make sure you know where that came from. 3x to the 3rd times x is 3x to the 4th. I have to do it to also the 1, which is just plus 3x to the 3rd. Here's a step everyone forgets. Change the signs. I'm going to highlight them to remind me, or circle them, or something. I had to change the signs. The first ones will do always what? Cancel. And they should cancel. Which is why? They have opposite signs there. That cancels. Negative 4 and negative 3 is negative 7x to the 3rd. April? April has her hand up. Okay, you'll wait till we get caught up to you. Tim?
So wait, so what's going to be that primary, sign for that, going between 3x to the 4th and 3x? What's going to be that primary sign?
Negative.
Okay, negative.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, you add the 2 3s right there?
A 3 minus 3 is... No, you only add the numbers in front.
How would you know if you're not doing it? How would you know if you're doing it wrong, like off the sign?
Did you check it? Is there a way to check this?
They're telling us we can do a whole thing wrong and do it again.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, you have to be extremely careful about your steps.
How do you know if you're doing it wrong?
You guys, seriously, I only have 10 minutes, and this is your grade. I know how to do it. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of arguing and fighting with y'all about it. Seriously, it's getting old. Okay, bring down the 0x squared. Okay, now what? Go ahead, April. Now's your question.
Yeah. What does x? I know that the negative 7x.
That's what you put up there. Yes. Well, hang on. Let's wait till we get there, okay? So she got the answer. I know that x times negative 7x squared is negative 7x third. I know that's what I want it to be. So I write that here. But I also have to take that negative 7x squared and multiply it times the 1. What am I going to not forget to do? Change the signs. Both of them. Don't forget to do both. I'm highlighting them every time to remind me of that. Then I just combine like terms. Maybe I'll answer your question, April, as we go through, okay? I add 0x squared and 7x squared, and I get just 7x squared. Bring down the next one. And I get plus 12x. Not yet. Yes, ma'am. Just 7x. Just 7x. Just 7x. Because I have an x, right? So plus 7x. 7x. There's already an x out here. So plus 7x. X times x is x squared. So I have 7x squared, and then I do it times 1, so I have plus 7x. What am I not going to forget to do? Change the signs. I'm even going to highlight them. Tim, what'd you call it? The primary sign when I have a negative and a plus. Negative, right? So the first ones always cancel. 12 minus 7 is 5x. And then I have to bring down one last one, plus 5. Yes, ma'am.
The only reason there's no plus if it was a negative already, it would be positive, right? Okay. That's what you call.
So plus, what's my last number here? Plus 5, because 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5. When I don't forget to change the signs, I know that this remainder actually happens to be 0. So what's my question? The question was, is x plus 1 a factor? Yes, it is. You change the signs of the second one, yes. This was the one we had to fill this in. Yes. Now, here's something that's going to make you mad. You ready? I could have just as easily answered this question by graphing this. Just graphing the problem, plus 12x plus 5, and graphing it, and looking for what? What's the root I'm looking for? Not 1. Negative 1. If x plus 1 is a factor, the root is negative 1. If I go to my table, is negative 1 a root? Guess what? X plus 1 is a factor. Done. I could have answered the question that quickly. But on a test, most likely, I could say it could be a multiple choice, yes or no, is it a factor? I could say maybe pick all the factors. Graphs are an easy way to start with that. And then, obviously, long division is the one way. I'm going to show you something called synthetic division on Thursday, a short, quick way to do division but I'll make it a little easier. And then we're going to review for the test the remainder of the time. Okay? Do tests on polynomials coming up next week. Your homework is going to be 5-4 practice. It's going to be graded. It's not really a homework grade. Okay? I was hoping to give you guys some time in class. You guys have about 10 minutes now to work on it. It is long division. The numbers are all mixed up, so I'm only going to have you circle certain ones to do, because I think the long division problems do take a while, and I have quite a few of you guys for you guys to do, okay? So let me hand it to you first, and then I will tell you what I need for you guys to do. If you're not here and you are watching this as a recording, I will put a copy of this worksheet up on SchoolFusion as well. So here are the numbers I want you to do. And if you notice, it jumps from 10 to 15. It kind of misses some at the bottom. Do you see that? All right, so I want you to do this. On the 5-4 practice worksheet, I want you to do the following problems. Just circle them. And I realize you might not have enough room on here, so do them on the back if you need extra room, okay? I want you to do problem number 1. I want you to do problem number 3. I want you to do 5 through 8. You do not need to do long division with that, do you? Do you see that? Actually, you know what? I'm only going to have you do problems 1. I'm going to have you do 1 through 8 all. That's it. You know why? Because we haven't done the second half of it yet. Do you see how it says on number 9 it says synthetic division? We'll finish that on Thursday or Friday. I get my days confused. Today is Wednesday, right? So Friday we'll finish it. But 1 through 8 is what I want you to do now. Okay? So you have 4 long division problems. What do I need to do on 5 through 8? Just graph it. What root should be if x plus 4 is a factor? -4. So you just look at those. And so those are really quickly answered. Just yes or no. Okay?